Christian Romero signs a new deal at Tottenham, recently made Tottenham captain, now a new long-term deal, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you're new, please stay tuned to the very end. If you please like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. So this was massive news. We've had a really good day at Tottenham. You know, we've got Jed Spence signing a new contract. Now Cuti Romero, and apparently negotiations have advanced with Everett as they look like we're getting closer to reaching a deal, which is fantastic. But on Romero, let's be clear here. We're talking about a player who everyone was like, oh yeah, when Ange leaves, he's going to throw a revolt, he's going to kick up a fuss, he's going to leave. So firstly, credit to Romero for kind of almost giving it another chance under another manager, going again and not throw his toys at the pram, and eventually deciding to stay, which is excellent. But also real credit to Thomas Frank in particular for convincing Romero to stay. We all knew that making Romero the captain would be a big bid to stay. He might have stayed anyway. If I'm thinking Romero, you know, personally, was waiting to find out who was the captain, waiting to see who the manager was appointed before rushing into a decision. So now we've got his future committed, which is great. I'm going to say the same I said for the Jed Spence video. Again, we don't know the length of the contract. The club don't disclose it. Thank goodness we've got sources and reliable ones, and they say, from what I've heard, 2029 it looks like with Romero. So that'll be a 2-3 year extension, not as long as I'd hoped, but you know, realistically is all the longest is going to be. Let's be totally honest with you. So really happy with this, and just the way that Romero speaks as well in the interview about leading and about why can't we win another trophy. I just love that, and you could just see how disappointed he was after PSG. So we've got someone who fights, you know, blood, sweat and tears for the badge, will speak up on behalf of the club, will fight for our players, and I just think it's really exciting being led by someone like Romero. Don't get me wrong, you know, Hugo was a great captain, Sonny was a great captain, but Romero, it just feels like there's that extra push to win. I mean, Sonny I loved, he's such a nice guy, but he's not the guy to kind of speak up and, you know, put his body almost on the line. He can't do that simply as being an attacker. So Romero, I just think, is the right captain for Tottenham. Frank as well in charge. Everything just feels right for it to be a good season. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to win something, but I think we're going to have a good season, a lot better than originally anticipated. You know, credit to everyone at the club really for managing to get Romero to stay, in particular Frank. So this is absolutely massive news, because we're talking about, for me, one of the best defenders in the world, and I just love the way he speaks. You know, he talks about Tottenham as one of the best clubs in the world, and I just really love it from Romero. I think he's classy. He just totally gets it. He gets it. That's the thing that's really key in football. Overall, class defender. I think among the fan base, there's players that we underrate, and there's, of course, like with any fan base, players we overrate. Romero is one that I think, you know, doesn't get the respect he deserves. Maybe this is changing now, but in the past, a lot of critics, which I think are now starting to go away, because since he got that vice captain role under Ange, massively calmed down, much more controlled, measured, and the tackles are all fair. He's actually one of the best tacklers in the world. I mean, he's just sometimes, you know, just a little bit too aggressive, gets silly yellow cards, but something that can easily be managed. He's definitely captain material, captain worthy. You can just see, you can just tell whenever you hear and see working harder than usual, putting in the effort. Here's my captain. Captain Cuti sounds right, and this is a Tottenham team that is much admired, much loved, but led by a very sensible, likeable head coach, a top guy who really knows what he's doing, and is just really sensible, and he's going to improve us, I think, drastically. And then you've got Romero, who's the perfect captain. So exciting times. But Romero signs a new long-term contract. Get involved in the comments below. How do you feel about this? Hopefully those that don't like Romero or doubted him have started to go away or admit they were wrong. Thank you very much for watching. We've all had our concerns about Romero, but deep down we know he's an absolutely class player. I think he's up there with your Salibas and Gabriels. I think you can now start to have that conversation who's better. I don't think Romero's second best anymore, and I think our partnership with Romero and Mickey van der Ven that they formed, just like, I think Van der Ven made a mistake the other day against Burnley, boom, Romero's there straight to fill in. They're creating a really good bonding and understanding, considering they haven't played many games together. So this season it's very key that we keep both of them fit, particularly Romero, but both of them really. Van der Ven's pace, Van der Ven was more important under Ange in terms of his pace. They're both now really important. You could argue Romero even more, being the club captain. So this is very key. Looking forward to seeing who the rest of the leadership group is, but it'll be led by Christian Romero. So get involved in the comments below how you feel about this. I'm over the moon. Again, getting Jed and Christian committed to a long-term deal, both of them separately in one day, is just fantastic. It's almost as good as a new signing. If you're new to the channel though, please like and subscribe. As I say, get involved in the comments below how you feel about it and anything I've said in today's video. But up the Spurs, thanks for watching.